Section 9, miscellany. The apartment's flag is a gold lion rampant on a field of azure. We have a flag? Never fly it upside down. Unless the apartment's in distress.
The American flag is no stranger to controversy, and one Lakeshore man is hoping to spark some debate around his flag.
That's right. He's flying the flag in a way some do not agree with, but he says he's doing it, well, for a reason. Fox 11's Becky DeVries brings us multiple views.
Look around Manitowoc, and an American flag isn't hard to find. But the flag outside Dale Decker's apartment is different from the others.
I want them to wonder why my flag is upside down.
Decker says he hopes the flag generates discussion, but is he breaking the law? A congressional report published in April says the flag should never be displayed union down, except as a signal of dire distress in instances of extreme danger to life or property.
I believe personally that our country is in a serious state of distress.
Decker cites a tough housing market, unemployment, and a collapsing economy as signs of a nation in distress. But others don't see it that way.
Distress, if you want to talk distress, take Iwo Jima. They were in distress. How did they fly the flag? Upside down? No. They flew it right side up because they were proud.
Definitely within his rights, but it's not the proper thing to do.
Decker says his flag went up on Wednesday, and the Manitowoc Police Department has contacted him.
I believe the Manitowoc Police Department is trying to infringe on my First Amendment right to free speech.
The Manitowoc Police Chief did not want to talk about the issue on camera, but he did tell me this is the first time he's heard of a complaint like this one. He also says the police department does not try to infringe on people's rights, but does respond to complaints.
Flag flying upside down in Crivets to protest a decision made by the village. Tonight, that symbol is dividing the small community. NBC 26 reporter Rachel Stockman is in Crivets with more.
What started off as a question about whether this restaurant could get a liquor license has now turned into a full-fledged village brawl. And the question now, is this flag a sign of distress, and were someone's constitutional rights violated?
It's a flag in distress that some argue is a sign of disgrace. So upsetting for this man, he came with a knife to cut it down.
Raise the flag properly. You are violating the law. You are trespassing. I don't care. You're f***ing me off.
But it's upside down for a reason we'll get to soon. But first,
all cops, bring it down.
This a sign of the deep division in this community that started at Village Hall and Vito Congini's Supper Club.
That'll be a small dining area.
Vito says he can't open the restaurant because the village denied his liquor license, a license he says he was promised.
We put everything that we owned into this. We're about $180,000 in debt right now.
So to show his distress, he raised this flag.
I've been to war more than once. I go over to other countries to fight tyrannical governments from doing whatever they want to their citizens, and then I have to come home and deal with that here. That's not fair. It's not right that the American people should have to fear their local government bodies.
But if you ask the man standing on Vito's roof, he'd disagree, and so apparently do the village cops.
I saw the village police, the 2 full-time officers and 2 part-time officers, stealing my American flag from Vito Congini's flagpole.
The village would only issue this statement. The liquor license was denied for economic reasons, and due to potential legal action, the board will make no further comment. As for this man, Marinette County deputies came and told him to leave. But that's likely not the end of this dispute.
So how do you like that? And this guy here. People are just fanatical for the flag. He says, in this video, this man here that's going off, he says that he fought for that flag. If you watch this video, the reason I sped it up and took the sound out was because there's a lot of swearing from him, and I cut one little bit out because he pretends to go to headbutt the this guy holding this camera, and says something pretty nasty, and they type it across the screen. So yeah, I cut that out just solely for the words. But yeah, it's just really crazy, people. The flag is it's an idol if you pledge allegiance to it. It's worship. You're holding it in esteem. And the way this guy's doing it, he's holding it above everybody in the country, everybody that's supposed to be under it. It's just ludicrous. I don't know why people have this attitude. All I know is that it's everywhere. The whole flat earth. Everywhere you go. Everywhere you see countries with sport. Like, soon we've got that stupid games coming up. I don't say those names. If I know that they're the name of, someone I shouldn't say, I won't say it. But yeah, people don't understand. And it's sad because they'll say like a nation under God and all these beautiful expressions like that, and pledge allegiance to the flag. It's sad because they don't know what their faith really is, or what it really stands for, what its morals really are. Upside down flags. Noticed an upside down flag on one of Jaren's videos on the big building that they bring the rockets out of, and I remembered it, and I was watching another video with a mate of mine, just explaining to him about the fakery and showing him a few things. Anyway, we stumbled across this video that had another flag. It seems to be in the same position, upside down and all. I started to think to myself, well, I know that an upside down flag, as Sheldon says, means that the country is in distress. But if NASA's flying it, they're not in distress. The only person that I could see they'd be in distress from would be Jehovah God. And I saw this here, this launch site, it looks like, or it's another shed they build it in or something, build rockets in. And yeah, you see there's one on there too. So it seems to be a bit of a fad, or a common theme with NASA. And you can see here, I started to look around and more NASA things to see if I could find any more. And I started finding them in lots of places. And they have them there like this, hidden subtly. But you can see that if you fill it in, you can see that that's an upside down flag. It's quite plain to see. And I noticed this one, where underneath the wing there, it's missing the stars, obviously, but it's still an upside down flag. And then I saw all these badges, and that top one, fourth from the left. I noticed that, well, that's an upside down flag too. You see there? And I thought, well, why is NASA in distress? And as you can see, when people get so patriotic about the flag, so why is no one upset at NASA for it? It makes you think, doesn't it?
We're in Asheville, North Carolina. I'm here with Mark and Debbie Cohen, who, what did you guys do?
I had this huge flag and just got the idea to put it out there as a distress signal. Country's in trouble, man. So it was out there for at least a good week and a half, and a city cop came by and actually wanted to know if we were okay. Because he said, yeah, I know this is a sign of distress, and we were just wanting to make sure you guys were okay. And I said, yeah. I said, we're not breaking any laws or anything. You know, we wanted to make sure there was not some kind of ordinance against it. And he goes, no. It's perfectly within your rights. And then we started noticing National Guardsmen walking up and down our street and driving by and looking and the actual taking photos of our house.
One of the National Guard guys came to the house early morning, and he read me the riot act on how disrespectful it was to hang the flag upside down, and that he insisted he was fighting for my freedoms. And I specifically told him that there was no way he was fighting for my freedoms.
There's a National Guard post just down the road, so they travel up and down our road a lot. And the next thing we know, we're awakened one morning by a sheriff's deputy, who we found out was a National Guardsman, just got back from Iraq, and
after the fact.
Apparently was friends with the other people who had been
Mark Radford, staff sergeant.
Yeah, but anyway, he issued. He said you're in violation of flag desecration, and was very blunt. Didn't try to explain anything to us. Just said you're in violation. Show me some ID.
And he showed us a computer printout of a law that we later found out was passed in 1912 or 17
like that.
about burning flags and desecration of flags.
Yes.
And
so there was a North Carolina statute about it, but it was never enforced and was actually...
And the Supreme Court overturned that law from North Carolina, of North Carolina.
But anyway, he spoke to us very abruptly, very, very, just in short sentences, and we're like, this is kind of strange. Something's wrong here. And I said, well, I'll take it down. I said, but I have a feeling, that we're within our rights, and it'll probably go back up if we find out, that we can actually fly it. So I took it down, put it in the house, and he kept insisting for ID. And I said, why? Are we under arrest or what? What are you doing?
And
why?
He never verbally said to us that he was going to give us a citation. No. If it was a simple citation, I would have searched for my ID and said, here you go. But after we said, what do you need to see our ID for? The next thing out of his mouth was, hands behind your back, you're under arrest. And my comment was, for what? So
we turned around, went in the house, deadbolted the door, and was walking away. And he starts kicking at the door.
He kicked the door. He tried to kick the door in.
Couldn't kick it in.
5 to 7 times. Couldn't kick it in. He punched the glass out, opened the deadbolt, walked into the house, and went after me, got me back into the kitchen, got me in a headlock. Somehow I got out. I was raging mad. I turned around. He pulled his pepper spray out. I said, you're not pepper spraying me in my house. He put it away. She's on the phone, screaming bloody murder to 911.
No, I wasn't screaming. Well, but I was saying, somebody broke into our house.
Yeah, right. And then he takes his little steel baton, right. Which was a cheerleader. He took out his baton. He tried to go after me with that. The whole time, he was pursuing me very slowly and mechanically. He wasn't talking to me. He said nothing when he was in the house except for the only thing he said to her was, I called for backup when she was on the phone with 911. So she hangs up the phone. She hangs up the phone as I'm walking away from him and continually yelling at him in my own home.
To get out.
She says, out of the house, run out of the house. So she ran out and started yelling, stop traffic. I run out of the house. He's chasing me around our car. I said, what are you arresting me for? He never said anything. You know, I can only imagine.
10 cop cars. We had cop cars and sheriff's deputies all up and down the street. There was 10 cars here. They didn't know what was going on, and they came and they pulled out their stun guns.
So finally,
and said, get down. I said, get down, honey.
So finally, the next deputy that showed up at our house ran over to the scene of Scarborough chasing me around my car, and he said, he pulls out a stun gun and says, down on the ground or I'm tasing you. Taser or whatever, stun gun, whatever. So she's like, get on the ground, get on the ground. I was like, well, I'm down on the ground. He handcuffs me, they handcuff her. Neighbors are watching the whole thing. Tons of cops show up. They put us in the back seat of the car. They had a little meeting behind the car to figure out what Scarborough was doing.
For about 20 minutes.
And I started yelling, take me to jail now. Take me to jail now.
And the boys next door, who are young college kids, were right on it. They came out, they said, what's going on here? They got involved. Thank God. They got involved, and they said, why are they being arrested? And they said, it's none of your business, you know, go back in your homes, blah, 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 blah. And they said, excuse me, it is our business. These are our neighbors, and I want to know why they're being arrested. So, thumbs up to the neighbors for getting involved. And, of course, they never really told them. But they went back in and immediately called the press and called everybody, got everybody involved in this. And that's how our story really got out instead of the
media.
Let's
continue this. So we were held for 3-something hours.
What was ultimately your charges, things like that, court-wise? What all happened?
Resisting arrest, assaulting an officer,
desecrating the flag. We got an ACLU lawyer, and he was trying to plea bargain and pull some funny stuff and make us look like, you know, we should be thankful that we're not going to jail for this. I said, no, we're not shooting any plea bargain. So I fired him, called up the sheriff, called up the DA, said, I want to meet with you, I want to talk about this. And I met with them. They were great. They were sorry it happened. They said, we just want to make this go away. Yes, of course, we'll drop the charges. We got the charges expunged, which means it's totally erased. And
so, as we know it.
Yeah, well, we got the paperwork on it. But basically, it was just, you know, a bad thing that never should have happened. And like I said, it was the mentality of the military going into the local law enforcement that got us into this mess. And he's still on the force.
As far as we know.
That's the only disappointment in this is that he was not punished for his actions.
The only thing that's going to save this country is for people to turn off their TVs, educate themselves in one way, shape, or another, and stand up to authority.
The American flag, of course, was made in the USA. Oops, that's backwards. Right, there we go. When I was in the Army, we didn't wear the flag in our uniform. If we did, you could bet I would not have worn it backward like this. I also would not have put my unit patch above it. The Army and the unit serve under the American flag. They're not superior to it. We also never put anything colorful on our camos. The whole point of camouflage is to not be seen by your enemy. I guess the Army decided that was not a priority. They eventually corrected a few of their mistakes. They moved the flag patch above the unit patch and subdued the color. Too bad they left it backwards, because the soldiers now put that little backward flag everywhere. It's not Army strong, it's backward and just plain wrong. Here's how the Navy wears it, and here's how the Army wears it, openly backward on their front chest. Here's how the Air Force wears it, and, of course, here's how the Army wears it, backward on their backpack. Here's how the Marines wear it. Oh wait, they don't wear it because if you encounter them on the battlefield, you're most likely the enemy and will soon be destroyed. But here's how they display it even underwater. And here's how the Army wears it, backward on their helmet. Do not support the backward flag. It's becoming the new symbol of America and only shows the direction our country is going backward.
It seems to be backwards too. Why does he have to hold it that way? Like, there's plenty of moon there. Or stage set. So why does it have to be flying that way? Why can't they have it flying the other way? And pan it so that they've got more of the right hand side. And have the astronauts sit on that side. Oh wait. They do. But he's still the wrong way. The more I looked, the more I found. There's so many. They're everywhere. It's hard to miss them when you start looking. They're literally everywhere. In NASA. And I thought, well, what's with this? Is it because, as I was talking about Parsons, he founded JPL or whatever. And so they do things backwards. And there's shots with it the right way round. But it's not just in NASA. It's in other government agencies, other official government agencies. Now, apparently, soldiers have the patch on their shoulder and they have it facing, well, is backwards. And the reason they say it's backwards is so that as they walk past you, it's facing as if though it was hanging on a pole like this, like just a normal flag, and as they're walking, it would be blowing, the breeze would be blowing it back in the direction that it is on the shirt, on the uniform. And so they say that that's why, because it looks like it's waving as it goes past. But I thought, yeah, that just sounds like a bit of an excuse. Like, it makes sense, but it just sounds like a bit of an excuse. To me, it's more like you're doing more work than you need because you're making two patches when you just need to make one patch. And just, who cares if it's not looking like it's flying? But the thing is, every flag has two sides. And no matter, unless it's on a wall, like NASA, it's being displayed backwards on one side. And then I saw this, and this is the reason, apparently, it's, they've come out and said, put this statement out, saying that it's not a disrespectful thing, there's an actual reason. I'll read it out. Why is the flag patch backwards on military uniforms? Following is a quote from the Department of Defense website. Thank you for your inquiry about the proper placement of the American flag on the uniform of the U.S. Armed Forces. Army Regulations 670-1, wear and appearance of Army uniforms and insignia. Updated most recently, September 5th, 2003, addresses explicitly the proper and lawful placement of the U.S. flag patch on the Army uniform. The regulation states that when authorized for application to the proper uniform, the American flag patch is to be worn right or left shoulder so that the star field faces forward or to the flag's own right. When worn in this manner, the flag is facing to the observer's right and gives the effect of the flag flying in the breeze as the wearer moves forward. The appropriate replica for the right shoulder sleeve is identified as the reverse side flag. We appreciate and share your concern for the respectful display of our American flag on the uniforms of the U.S. Armed Forces. So there you go. That explains it, doesn't it? Yeah? No, it doesn't. So it looks like it's you know, you can see as it's going past, so you feel all patriotic? Really? So this bright red, white and blue thing on the side of someone's shoulder, backwards like that. And so yes, it's I see no need in it except maybe a target for the enemy, being all bright and colourful like that. I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it when I started to look and saw that there's backward flags everywhere. It must stand for like anti-America, which would make sense with the laws that are being passed, with martial law, with a lot of things going on. Jade Helm, domestic terrorism, drone strikes without trial or without reason. It's just crazy, as far as I'm concerned. In that video with the man and lady, and they were arrested by that police officer that just got back from Iran, I think he said. And yeah, he said that he was friends with Mark Radford, Staff Sergeant. It sounds a little bit familiar, doesn't it? But mate, well, we've got his name and they're friends, so maybe we could email that police officer, Mark Radford, Staff Sergeant. Oh, sorry, well, the guard. The guards that were frequently walking and driving past their place. National Guard, was it? I think so. Anyway, maybe we could send Mr. Sergeant, or Radford, we could send him an email to pass on to his little patriotic friend here, with a nice big photo of NASA's upside down flags. I think that'd be great. I think that's about it. I'd just like to say thanks to Jaren for putting this idea in my head in the first place. And thank you all for listening and for the support I've been getting too. It's been wonderful. And yeah, thank you guys so much. I love yous and leave yous, as usual. And keep your eyes open because I've just put out another parallax video, and I've got another one coming. I'm just deciding whether or not I want to get live footage, if I can, or just grab some off the internet. But yeah, I'll work it out. Much love. Bye.